I was standing on my wedding stage. Lights glowing, music playing softly, everyone smiling like it was the perfect day. And it should have been. But something felt off. Like this quiet tension sitting in my chest that I couldn't explain. Then my wedding planner rushed toward me fast. Her face was pale, her hands slightly shaking. "Hey, we have a problem." I gave a small nervous laugh. "What kind of problem?" "Everything looks fine." She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Your venue, it's been canceled." I blinked. Canceled? What do you mean canceled? Today? Right now? My heart started pounding. That's impossible. I booked this months ago. I paid everything in full. She swallowed hard. Someone called, pretending to be you, and canceled the entire booking. For a second, I couldn't breathe. My fingers went cold as I grabbed my phone. Scrolling through emails, checking calls, searching for anything that made sense. Nothing. Just nothing. And then suddenly, it hit me. A name I didn't want to think about. A possibility I didn't want to believe. My mom. I froze. No, she wouldn't do that. Would she? But then I remembered every argument. Every time she said this wedding was a mistake. Every time she tried to control my decisions. And in that moment, everything clicked. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was planned. The truth is, my mom was never happy about my wedding. From the very beginning, she made that painfully clear. It wasn't the venue, or the dress, or even the timing. It was him. Arav. The man I loved, the man I chose, the man she never approved of. "He's not good enough for you," she would say over and over again. "You're settling." But what she called settling, I called peace. Arav wasn't flashy. He didn't come for money, didn't drive a luxury car, didn't have some high-status job title to impress people at dinner parties. What he did have was consistency, respect, and a kind of love I had never questioned for a second. But to my mom, that wasn't enough. In her world, image was everything. She had always imagined my wedding as some grand, high-society event. The kind where every guest whispers about how perfect everything looks. And Arav didn't fit into that picture. At first, she tried to be subtle about it. Little comments here and there. "Are you sure about this venue? Don't you think you could do better? This doesn't really match your standard." But over time, subtle turned into controlling. She started interfering in everything. She tried to change the guest list, inviting people I barely knew. She criticized my dress, said it looked too simple. She even called my vendors behind my back, pretending she was helping. And every time I confronted her, she would smile and say, "I'm just looking out for you." But it didn't feel like care. It felt like control. Things got worse when I finally set boundaries. I told her, calmly but firmly, "This is my wedding. I need you to respect my decisions." That's when something shifted. She didn't argue. She didn't yell. She just went quiet. Cold. Distant. And somehow, that silence felt more dangerous than any fight we'd ever had. Because my mom wasn't the type to let things go. She was the type to wait. To plan. To make her move when you least expected it. And standing there that day, after hearing what happened to my venue, I realized something that sent a chill down my spine. This wasn't sudden. This wasn't impulsive. She had been planning this all along. I stepped away from the stage, my heels clicking faster than my thoughts could keep up. "This doesn't make sense," I muttered, already pulling out my phone. "There has to be a mistake." I called the venue manager immediately. He picked up on the second ring. "Hi, this is..." "I know who this is," he cut in gently. "I was expecting your call." My stomach dropped. "Then fix it," I said quickly. "Please tell me this is some kind of error. My wedding is happening right now." There was a pause, the kind that feels heavier than words. "I'm really sorry," he said. "But the cancellation was confirmed yesterday. We received a direct call from you, along with a follow-up email. Everything checked out." "No," I whispered. "That wasn't me." "We also processed the refund," he added carefully. Refund. That word hit me like a slap. What do you mean refund? Where did the money go? To the updated account details provided in the email. My chest tightened. Updated. I repeated. I never changed any account details. Another pause. Then, you may want to check that, he said. The call ended, but the panic didn't. My hands were shaking as I opened my banking app. Balance normal. No refund. No incoming transaction. Nothing. which meant only one thing. Someone didn't just cancel my wedding. They redirected the money too. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was calculated. I turned around slowly, scanning the crowd. Guests laughing. Music playing. Everything looking like a perfect illusion, while behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. I didn't waste another second. I grabbed my keys and rushed out, ignoring the confused looks, ignoring the whispers. I drove straight home. The entire way, my mind kept repeating one question. Who would do this? But deep down, I already knew. I walked into the house without knocking. My mom was sitting in the living room, calm, relaxed, like it was any normal day. She looked up at me and smiled. Shouldn't you be at your wedding? That smile. It wasn't warm. It was knowing. I stepped closer, my voice shaking but sharp. Did you do this? She tilted her head slightly. Do what? Cancel the venue. Change the payment details. Take the refund. Each word came out heavier than the last. Did you do it? For a second, she said nothing. Then she leaned back, completely unbothered. I don't know what you're talking about, she said. But her eyes gave her away. There was no confusion there. No surprise. Just quiet satisfaction. I let out a slow breath, trying to hold myself together. You went too far, I said. And that's when she finally dropped the act. I saved you, she replied calmly. My heart sank. From what? I asked. From ruining your life, she said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. And in that moment, everything inside me shifted. Because this wasn't just interference anymore. This was war. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. As much as I wanted to. I just stood there, looking at her, really looking this time. Because in that moment, I realized something important. If I reacted emotionally, she would win. So instead, I nodded slowly, like I was processing everything she said. Okay, I whispered, if that's what you think. Her expression softened, just a little. Like she believed I was finally giving in. And that's exactly what I wanted. Because the truth was, I was done playing defense. That night, I didn't go back to the venue. I didn't call guests. I didn't try to fix things immediately. Instead, I started digging. Quietly. Carefully. I went through every email connected to my wedding vendors. Every call log. Every confirmation message. And slowly, the pieces started coming together. There it was. A fake email ID, almost identical to mine, just one letter off. A call made to the venue, using my full name, my event details, everything. And then, the final piece. Updated bank information, leading to an account that wasn't mine. But I knew whose it was. I didn't confront her again. Not yet. Because now, this wasn't just personal. This was evidence. The next morning, I contacted the venue manager again. This time, I asked for everything. Call recordings. Email logs. Transaction details. At first, he hesitated. But when I explained what was happening, his tone changed. This is fraud, he said. I know, I replied quietly. And within hours, I had everything I needed. Proof. Solid. Undeniable. The kind of proof that doesn't leave room for excuses. I sat there staring at it all, my hands steady now, my mind clear. I had two choices. I could go straight to the police. Or I could do something else. Something she would never expect. I chose the second option. Because my mom didn't just try to ruin my wedding. She tried to control my life. And I wasn't going to let her get away with it that easily. So I made a plan. First, I booked a new venue. Smaller, more private, but beautiful. Only my closest friends knew about it. People I could trust. Then I reconnected with every vendor, quietly rescheduling everything under strict instructions. No changes. No calls. No information shared with anyone outside my approved list. Especially not her. And finally, I did something that surprised even me. I invited my mom to the wedding. Like nothing had happened. No arguments. No confrontation. Just a calm message. Everything is back on track. See you there. Because I didn't want her to suspect anything. I wanted her to walk in, confident, thinking she had already won. And then, I wanted her to face the truth. Not in private. Not quietly. But in front of everyone. Because this time, I wasn't just taking control back. I was exposing everything. The ceremony was minutes away from starting. Soft music filled the air. Guests were seated. Everything looked exactly how it was supposed to. Perfect. Controlled. Planned. And for the first time all day, I wasn't anxious. I was ready. Then, she walked in. My mom, dressed elegantly, confident as ever, scanning the venue like she expected chaos. Like she expected nothing to be here. But instead, she saw everything. The decorations. The guests. The stage. Me. Standing there, calm. Her steps slowed. Confusion flickered across her face. "What is this?" she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. I watched her carefully as she walked closer, her eyes starting around like she was trying to make sense of something impossible. "This isn't possible," she said under her breath. I stepped down from the stage and walked straight toward her. "It is," I said quietly. She looked at me stunned. "How did you?" "The same way you canceled it," I cut in. Her expression froze. For the first time, she didn't have a response ready. Guests nearby started noticing the tension. The whispers began. "Mom," I said, my voice calm but firm, "we need to talk." She forced a small smile, trying to regain control. "This isn't the time or place." "No," I interrupted. "This is exactly the time." I reached into my bag and pulled out a sealed envelope. Her eyes locked onto it instantly. "What's that?" she asked, her voice tighter now. I held it out to her. "Everything," I said. She hesitated, but then slowly took it. The moment she opened it, her entire body went still. Inside were the call logs, the fake email printouts, the bank transfer details. Every move she made, documented. Her hands trembled slightly as she flipped through the pages. "This," she started, but the words didn't come out. I leaned in just enough so only she could hear me. "I have copies," I said quietly. "And if I wanted to, the police could have this too." Her breathing changed. Faster. Uneven. "This is insane," she whispered. "You're overreacting." "Am I?" I asked. Then I stepped back, raising my voice just enough for the silence around us to carry it. "Do you want me to explain it to everyone?" The room went completely still. All eyes were on us now. She looked around, panic creeping into her expression for the first time. "This isn't necessary," she said quickly. "Then tell them the truth," I replied. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. Seconds felt like minutes. And then, she broke. "I made a call," she said, her voice barely steady. A ripple moved through the crowd. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she continued. "I didn't trust him. I didn't trust this wedding." Her words stumbled over each other now. "I just wanted to stop it before it was too late." I held her gaze. "And the money?" I asked quietly. She closed her eyes for a second, then exhaled. "I handled it," she admitted. That was it. No more lies. No more pretending. In front of everyone. The truth was out. For a moment, no one said anything. The entire room was silent. Like everyone was trying to process what they had just heard. My mom stood there, frozen. The same woman who always had control. Who always had the last word. Now, she had nothing. I looked at her, really looked at her. And for the first time, I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. "You didn't just try to stop a wedding," I said calmly. "You tried to control my life." Her eyes filled with something I hadn't seen before. Not pride. Not confidence. Regret. "I was trying to protect you," she whispered. "From what?" I asked. "Being happy?" That question hit harder than anything else I had said. She didn't answer. Because deep down, she knew. I took a slow breath, steadying myself. "I'm not calling the police," I said. A soft murmur spread through the room. Her head snapped up, surprised. "But that doesn't mean this didn't change anything." My voice didn't shake. "This ends here. The control, the all of it." She nodded slowly, like she finally understood. Or maybe, like she had no other choice. I stepped back, creating distance between us. Not just physically, but emotionally. Then I turned and walked back toward the stage. Arav was standing there, waiting. His eyes filled with concern, but also trust. He didn't ask questions. He just reached for my hand. And in that moment, everything felt steady again. Not perfect, but real. We faced the guests together. And without another word, the ceremony continued. No drama. No interruptions. Just us. Choosing each other. When it was over, people came up to us. Some shocked, some supportive. But none of that mattered anymore. Because the only thing that mattered was that I didn't let someone else decide my life for me. That I didn't stay silent. That I didn't back down. That day, I didn't just get married. I took my power back. So, what would you have done if you were in my place? Would you have forgiven her? Or would that betrayal be something you could never come back from? I'm really curious to know where you stand on this. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because honestly, not everyone would handle this the same way. And if you enjoy intense, real-life drama stories like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more coming. Stories that will make you question everything. And maybe even see things a little differently.